Good morning. I'd like to call the June 28th, 2022 Executive Committee meeting to order. So let's start with a roll call, please.
Mr. Lear?
Present.
Mr. Hess?
Present.
Ms. Polk? Ms. Weber? Mr. Payton?
Present.
Ms. Parker?
Present.
Mr. Fairfield?
Present.
Mr. Carrico?
Present.
Mr. Featherling? Mr. Miller? Mr. Long?
Present.
Mr. Hunter?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler?
We haven't voted him in yet, so
Okay.
we will.
Mr. Seroy?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to Mr. Hunter to vote Mr. Wheeler on Zoom, second by Mr. Long. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Welcome, Mr. Wheeler.
You all.
And I'd need a motion for the approval of the minutes for May 24th. Mr. Payton with a first, Mr. Fairfield with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you very much. I will get to public comment. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Is there anybody here for public comment? Anyone for public comment? Anyone?
I just want to mention, Mr.
Hold on, sir. Yes, Mr.
I just
Hunter.
want to mention that one of the land bank members, Victor Navarez, lost his son in Florida yesterday, 38 years old. I'm not aware of the circumstances. Tyler Tall and I had talked with him several times on his en route to Chicago to meet with family, and he's getting ready to go to Florida. But you know, our prayers should go out to Victor Navarez and his family on the untimely loss of a 38-year-old son.
Yes, sir. I will send a prayer to that family myself. So thank you for that news, I guess. I don't know how to take that. That's sad. Mr. Lear, do we have anything for legislative? Nothing? Okay. Moving on to information services, Mr. Duvall. His monthly update is in your packet.
Just here for answer any questions. The one thing I'll bring up is last month I discussed that we were waiting on some items to complete a project with the state's attorney. We received the remaining pieces of computer equipment for state's attorney, and we staged them and completed the project by issuing them to the individuals that the management requested. We're now moving on for this next month into the recorder's office to upgrade their security camera system. So while we do our normal job, and we, as usual, we are on budget. So if you got any other questions here.
Anybody have anything for Kevin? No? Thanks, Kevin. Next on the agenda is the Health Department, Mr. John Beavis. His monthly report is also in your packet. Morning.
Morning. In lieu of everybody's time, I know we are a polling place at the health department, and I'm missing some of my team leaders today, so I need to get back as quick as I can. So I'm not going to read off my report. You have it. I'll just entertain if anyone has any questions, I'll try to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Beavis on a busy day like today? Anyone?
Highlights?
Or lowlights? None?
Is that a question?
Do you have any highlights?
I guess one of the biggest things in regards to the report is, as of last Thursday, the health department has received and started to vaccinate now the youngest group, so under 5-year-olds, so the 6 months age to 5-year-olds. Now we have that vaccine at the health department also. So from 6 months to adults, we have Pfizer and Moderna and are starting those vaccinations. We have clinics Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 3:30. We are continuing to accept walk-ins. We don't need any appointments at this point. We're not overwhelmed by the crowd, so we're able to handle that within our other immunizations and services that we provide. We recently went to the Juneteenth celebration, did some vaccinations there at Pioneer Park, and this past weekend, we're asked to assist and we're able to accommodate that on 2 days' notice. The Illinois Migrant Council had an event that they had sponsored at St. Patrick Church in Momence on Sunday. They had already made arrangements for another organization apparently to come and give vaccinations there. That company or agency canceled last Thursday at 3:30. So Abigail reached out to us at the health department at 4 o'clock on Thursday, and with 1 day's planning, we were able to get a team of individuals there on Sunday and cover those vaccinations for them in addition to the other sponsored activities that they had. So they were very appreciative. I was grateful for my staff that volunteered on short notice to work on the weekend. Obviously, they're compensated for their time, but we were able to do that.
Well, thank you. That's great news. Mr. Hunter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. John, and thank you for the initiatives that you took at Juneteenth. I appreciate that and the service you provided me personally for getting my 4th shot. Seems like we're stuck on 51%. Looking at your brain trust, I mean, what can we do to elevate that 51% that we've vaccinated? I'm sure you have some other tricks in your bag that you're going to try to implement. Could you share those with us?
I'm running out of cards, Mr. Hunter. However, obviously I think we should see a little bit of a bump in the increase in total vaccinated now that we have a new age group to vaccinate. But a big part of that equation will be how many parents will be bringing in their children to get vaccinated. We have yet to see. So we opened last Thursday to that age group. Short notice in regards to receiving notification from the state, placing the order. We received it actually on the holiday, opened up the office so that we could get the UPS delivery into the freezer, and then started on Thursday. We had to spend Tuesday getting the paperwork ready and everything. And in the state, in its infinite wisdom, as they've done in the past, has not been able to provide yet the Hispanic documentation paperwork yet for that, so that we have to provide translators then for that information. It usually takes the state about 2 weeks to catch up on the paperwork for the Spanish-speaking population. So that puts us a little bit behind the 8 ball, at least on last Tuesday, as to why we waited until Thursday to start the vaccinations. It's education, Mr. Hunter, is part of it. We're still trying to provide that. I think most people in our community that are going to get vaccinated have gotten vaccinated. Now, whether they continue to get boosters or not, again, is going to be their choice. It's not mandated, but we are there to provide the vaccine if anybody wants it. We will continue to try to go out into the public where we can and when we can, such as those two offerings that I just mentioned earlier. So that's kind of where we're at. We're working with a number of other agencies on some ideas and suggestions, but I can't twist your arm, ultimately, is what it comes down to. So as people are impacted maybe by this moving forward, some of them may change their mind, but a lot of communities, Kankakee County is not alone in this. If you start to look, our numbers actually have now caught up to many of the counties in the state. We are no longer one of the lower ones. We're in the middle in terms of fully vaccinated, and we've passed others that were way ahead of us at the beginning of the game. They've become stuck in the mud too, so to speak, on individuals that want to get initially vaccinated. Now it's mostly boosters. So all the shots that we gave at Juneteenth, for example, were booster shots. All the shots that we gave at the Migrant Council event the other day were all booster shots. Most of the shots last week that we gave 22 shots total for Thursday, and 3 of them were young kids for under the 5 years old. So those are 3 new ones, and then the rest were booster shots. So that's where we're at.
And has Lorena Alada contacted you from Hippocrates for the health department health fair? Have they reached out to you yet? Because that's primarily a Hispanic population and low to mod individuals who frequent that clinic.
She has not reached out to me specifically, but I do know that I was talking in one of our meetings yesterday with the health promotion coordinators. We were discussing some of the upcoming events in the summer that we may consider attempting to try to participate in, and that was one organization that we did discuss. So it's possible she may have reached out to some of them.
Because that's scheduled already. I'm trying to remember if it's August, whatever, but I know.
I think it's August. I think you're right. That's kind of what's sticking in my mind in regards to the conversation.
It's been scheduled, the date escapes me now.
I think we participated with them last year, and so I think the consensus is we're going to attempt to try again this year.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from Mr. Beavis? Seeing none, thank you, John.
All right, thank you all very much.
good
It's
day.
a beautiful day outside, so I hope you get to enjoy some of it.
Next up, schools. Dr. Greg Murphy's present. Need a motion, a second, to put his quarterly report on file. Mr. Lear with a first, Mr. Fairfield with a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Mr. Murphy, do you have anything for the committee?
Just if there's questions.
That mic back there, or you can come up front, sir.
Just if there's any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Murphy? I hit him with all the hard ones before the meeting. Seeing none? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Moving right along, Veterans Assistance Commission, Miss Karen Smetansky. I had to get it out. Her monthly report, I need a motion and a second. Mr. Miller and Mr. Carrico with a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
I probably didn't need to come up here, but you know. So we had a great graduation on June 16th. We do have one new referral that we hope to be taken in here very shortly. For Veterans Treatment Court, it was a great graduation, probably Judge Kramer's last, so we did surprise him, caught him a little off guard. It was quite fun. I got a little bit yelled at afterwards in a nice way. And we have hired a part-time admin assistant. Her first day is today, if you want to stop in and meet her after the meeting. Her name is Amanda Sadler. That's the basics. I am just going to put it out there. Our office is looking and hoping to move. You will get a presentation at next month. The clinic has an office in Bourbonnais that is, they originally offered us a swing office, which is just a part-time VSO would go over there 2 to 3 days a week. And instead of that, when we went over there to look at what the expansion was for the Bourbonnais clinic, there is a sleep clinic over there that is move-in ready. They have 7 offices, and we could actually move our full office over there. And it is time for an expansion for us, and that is what we need to do. The proposal will be sent to my commission tonight, and then move forward to you with their approval then next month for you all. So.
Very good.
Any questions to anybody? I'm open.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Mr. Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. what's the rent on this location? Currently, there is no rent being an.
So it is still being negotiated at this point in time. There's been an offer made at $10 a square foot.
And how many square feet?
2332, I believe it was. Plus CAM, which was $5 a square foot. With the new Military Veterans Assistance Act, the just and necessary means is certainly there, though. There's room for that in our budget.
Okay, that's kind of what I was getting at, because we're
Yep.
obviously not increase your budget by what, 25,000 a year.
But and Andy, we can talk about that another time. But truly, in the Military Veterans Assistance Act, the just and necessary at 0.02% of the equalized assessed value of the property tax puts us a lot more than 20,000, starting in 2023.
Is it in 23 collected in 24?
No, it starts January 2023 of how much we can get.
So we've already set the levy, and you're telling me the act is basically retroactive?
Yes.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting. I didn't hear it that way.
Yeah.
All right, work on that together.
Yep. It's a to come, and I think that we would have it in the budget. And to be quite honest, I'm working on grants for the first 2 years, and I'm hoping not to even affect our levy for the first 2 years. So, and grants are great, but it's only going to affect the first 2 years. So it'd be something that we'd have to work with the county board with our levy over the years to come as a whole. So I'm working on grants to get a computer lab set up for veterans. I'm working on getting, so Cigna left every piece of equipment for desk and chairs in that building. I don't want to take the old desk and chairs from here. I want to buy all those, which would be a grant. So I'm hoping to get a grant for those, the computer lab. I'm trying to cost the county as little as possible. I believe that the economic development people have grants for rent, and I'm hoping that we can work with them on some grants, as well as the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs has grants that we're going to work with. So overall, I'm hoping to cost the county very little. So, but obviously the county levy is where we have to fall. So, but you'll get your full proposal before next executive board. I'll send it to you, Andy, as soon as I have it prepared.
Okay, all right. 1 month is a tough time to turn that around. So that's, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
I look forward to see the way you guys need it to, so.
Yep.
It makes sense to be a one-stop shop, that you're all going to be in the same office. If medical's going to be in there, you know, dental, all that, hearing, all that stuff is going to be in. It makes sense. I hope you can get it done.
And truly, the proposal that I have planned, I mean, I'll just go into it more. The PACT Act, which is the Honoring the Toxics Exposure Act for the military veterans, has 23 new presumptives for veterans, not only of the Afghan and Iraqi vets, but it also goes back and takes into consideration veterans of Vietnam era. That's going to make us 3 times as busy. The VA clinic sees 60 to 150 veterans a day. We see 200 a month. So it's going to make us so much more busy just by them sending us people on a daily basis to enroll. The VBA, so the Benefits Administration side, not the healthcare, has already asked us to house, they called it hotel, which I've never heard of, but they want us to hotel one of their employees in our office starting in 2023. I don't have room to house another one of their employees on a permanent basis without having expansion already. So they can't do it over there, so I would already need another office, and it just makes sense overall. I mean, it's a great thing for us to do, and I hope that it does work out. My board was on board with it already. I just have put together the initial proposal for them, so.
Thanks for giving us a little heads up. I appreciate that.
Yep. And we don't expect to do it overnight by any means. We've got a lot of planning to do.
Mr. Hunter?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Karen, I really did appreciate your discussion regarding your move and what that entails. Let me ask you this, in terms of giving all the bells and whistles, specificities, the amount of space you're going to have, square footage, and everything will be provided there, when will you be able to share that with us as a county board group?
I expect to bring it to the executive board next month.
So that's gonna-
Unless I can present to the county board, I just have to have my commission approve my presentation and my budget and stuff tonight. So they have to approve it first. So after they approve it tonight, I could seriously bring it back to you all anytime, but I have to have them approve it tonight. So we meet tonight, so after tonight, it can come back to you all at any point in time.
I would assume that's going to be a very comprehensive proposal based on the discussion we had. It was kind of interesting, and I'm sure there'll be questions as well, too.
Yeah, so I mean, again, I could bring it to the county itself, to the county board, but usually I bring things to the executive board first, so.
Okay.
Look forward to hearing you next month.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? You're good, thank you. Next up, County Administrator Anita Speckman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good.
No, it's
It's an
I'm
adjustment.
sitting on the floor. Feel like a first grader. Good morning. I have just a couple short items, hopefully. The first relates to board member mileage expense, and I understand there's been some discussion among board members about adding mileage reimbursement to the per diem amount previously approved. I was tasked with determining if this would be considered compensation, and I worked with Mr. Coughlin, obviously, of the State's Attorney's Office, who indicated that this would be considered an expense reimbursement rather than compensation. As a result, the board could address this issue if they wish to do so. Mr. Coughlin did confirm that any change would need to be effective 12/1/2022 with the new board member terms.
I remember we passed a resolution a couple of years ago, maybe, Bones helped me on the date, but that we were only going to reimburse for out-of-county mileage, but now we're going to go back to what we were originally doing was in-county mileage, like to and from meetings or extra meetings. So if there's any questions on that, I think it was a couple years ago, wasn't it? When life was good, Bones, when everybody, when we all had money to spend on gas. Now we don't have any money to spend on gas, so we're trying to get it back a little bit. Yeah,
I believe it's longer than 2 years.
yeah, I think it's probably been more than 2.5. Yes, I can't. Mr. Wheeler, do you know the date on when we went to that resolution of out of county? It's been a while.
I think it was 2014.
Yeah.
2014? Yeah, that's more than a couple years ago. This feels like a couple years ago.
That was the only time part of a resolution.
Right.
Was when we did it just in county travel.
So, committee thoughts, comments. I heard on the farm show this morning that your cost of your 4th of July has went up 17% from last year to this year. So I think the mileage rate is 62.5. It's 62.5 cents.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I think that's what the mileage rate, the current mileage rate from the Fed was. Starting July 1st, but we wouldn't do till December 1st. You couldn't get reimbursed for mileage in December 1st. So, any questions, comments, yays, nays? I mean,
Do we need a motion to move forward?
A motion to move forward would probably be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Make a motion to reinstate mileage.
Yep.
Okay. Reinstate mileage. I have a first. Do I have a second? Mr. Payton? Another guy that drives past my house to come here. So yes, sir, I understand that. I'm gonna ask for a roll call vote just because we're in that dollar area. So if we have any more discussion, anyone?
Yes.
Mr. Wheeler? Yes, sir.
Thank you. Since this doesn't take effect until the next board doesn't have the next board have to vote on it. I don't think we can vote on it here. It has to be voted on after 12/1.
Okay.
Mr.
It's gotta be
That's Mr. Coglin.
It's gotta be reinstated 12/1.
Hold on, Mr. Coglin. Do you have any recommendations whether we should?
Yes, I think.
Oh, hold on, sir.
This board should vote on it, and then it goes into effect 12/1,
Not wait to the new board.
Right, the new board can't vote on their own to increase their own receipt of funds. So this board should vote on it, and then it takes effect 12/1.
Okay. Yeah, and then we'll bring it to the full board after this vote. So, okay.
And the last, not officially part of any vote because I'm on vacation. That's not the rules. This is not work. I'm just attending and discussing. I can't vote.
Okay. So, I have a motion and a second. Does anybody else have a comment? Mr. Long?
Thank you. Are we, we're talking about doing the mileage, and we're gonna make somebody's life really complicated by doing that. Would we be better off just raising the per diem?
I don't think we can, that's compensation.
Okay.
This is reimbursement for, and that's where we can't set compensation till the new board is set. So that discussion will happen when the new board's set.
You gotta do it so many days before.
It's past time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no to your question. And Mr. Coglin, would, if you want to answer, you want to affirm that, or?
Right, the actual compensation had to be done 180 days before the board voted on that previously about moving, I think it was up $5 or something, whatever the increase was, I can't recall. That was done prior to the 180 day, or prior to the 100, in compliance with the 180 days. This isn't compensation, this is reimbursement, but you still have to do it for another board. You can't raise your own monies.
Yeah.
So that's why you do it now, takes effect 12/1.
Thank you. And to your point, and to your point, if somebody who lives across the street is going to get a bigger raise than somebody who has to travel as far as Sam does, or you do, you know, so I understand. All right, so any other discussion as far as the 62.5 cents per mile reimbursement? Federal rate.
Yeah,
the federal rate.
Don't say the
federal rate.
number yet.
I think
Federal
that's
rate,
the federal rate, but all right, in case that's not. Federal rate. Anyone?
It may change by then.
Could be. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Lear?
Aye.
Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Polk?
Aye.
Mr. Payton?
Aye.
Ms. Parker?
Aye.
Mr. Fairfield?
Aye.
Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Mr. Searoy?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next, Anita.
Yes, we received, and I gave you the Illinois Department of Revenue salary reimbursement form for the state's attorney. The COLA assigned by the Illinois Department of Revenue for the state's attorney was 2.9%. So his salary will increase from $183,434 to $188,754, essentially, effective July 1st with the new state fiscal year. And with that amount, then the state reimburses a portion of that, a large portion. As part of that salary also is the basis for the public defender's salary. So if you remember, if it was last year or 2 years ago, I think the public defender's salary became tied to that. And we must pay 90% of the sheriff's state's attorney's salary. If we do, we receive reimbursement from the state for 2/3 of that salary, 66.67%. So 90% of the 188 is 169,878.39, an increase from his current salary of 165,090. The increase is 4,787.63, of which 113,240 is reimbursed from the state. The differential in the cost to the county that's not reimbursed goes from $55,024 to $56,637, an increase of about $1,600. So by tying that increasing the public defender's salary to 90%, we receive the 66 2/3 reimbursement from the state. So we would need a motion to make that effective 7/1.
Mr. Hunter with a motion and Mr. Lear with a second. Now discussion. I think we're getting off good with it's almost 3% because cost of living is more than that, I believe. But that's just me. I know she's rolling her eyes at me because she doesn't like any increases. Which I love that. I don't like them either.
I have no comment.
I love it. I can read your mind. All right, Mr. Hess.
Thank you, Chairman. Anita, I believe when this all started back, you said that we're going to have problems come July.
Yep.
Is that correct? My memory?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She called it.
So.
Yeah, but if I might.
Hold on. Mr. Hess has the floor, sir.
I was going to say, now we're going to have to do this yearly from now on, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Hunter.
May I, with all due respect, Anita, and those of you have concerns about this, be mindful of the service performance that Attorney Rowe has performed, State's Attorney Rowe has performed. Additionally, you think in terms of the soft monies that he has brought into the county coffers, which supplements his service delivery. And as the chairman has just indicated, that's a bargain in terms of what the COLA is compared to what we're paying this 3%. So I just want you guys to be mindful of the kinds of services he's providing in the community. And it's amazing what he is doing in terms of the quality of life for those individuals who receive the services from his office. So be mindful of that. Again, without really being redundant, he's brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars to the state's attorney's office, and he's going after those funds whereby we don't have to provide additional revenue to his department. So be mindful of that.
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Mr. Hess, second time.
Okay, my comment wasn't directed at anything with the state's attorney's office or the public defender's office. My comment was towards the state making these mandates like this and putting them on a middle of our budget year and stuff like that. Once our budget is set, and then come July 1st, everything comes around. That's what my comment was about.
I read your comment like that, and I don't think anybody in this committee would care to say Mr. Rowe is not doing a fabulous job, or anybody in that department is not doing a fabulous job. Yeah, I wouldn't want to have that job.
And I want to be clear, that is not my point at all.
No, mine.
My concern with this is I look at our employment group as a whole.
Yes.
And there are a lot of employees here that come to work every day
that don't get the cost of living.
That don't get mileage reimbursement and don't get a 3% raise.
Yes.
That's very hard.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Like employees everywhere are struggling.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more comments? So I will also ask for a roll call for this, please.
Mr. Lear?
Aye.
Mr. Hess?
Aye.
Ms. Polk? Mr. Payton?
Aye.
Ms. Parker? Mr. Fairfield? Mr. Carrico?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Long?
Aye.
Mr. Hunter?
Aye.
Mr. Searoy?
Aye.
We have a quorum? Or I'm sorry, motion carries.
Motion carries. And we do have a quorum, too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anita, do you have anything else for us?
No, that'd be it.
All right, have a great day. Thank you. Appointments, reappointments, or resignations. In your packet, you see the resignation letter of Dr. Greg Murphy, as Regional Superintendent for Iroquois and Kankakee County Schools, effective July 31st, 2022. Reappointment of David Sargent to Cabry Area Fire Protection District, and reappointment of William Supernaw to the Otto Fire Protection District. A motion to combine and approve. Mrs. Parker with a first and Mr. Long with a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. All opposed, same sign? No. Thank you. Ms. Parker, do you have a question? Hold on.
I do. I have a comment.
Okay, comment? Okay.
I do. I just want to make known that Dr. Murphy has just served amazingly. He's been at the helm of that position for many years, through many crises and good times too. And we hate to see him leave. And I just want to say, Greg, thank you so much for your service. I loved working with you on ICANN the last 6 years. It's just been an amazing group of people that he has brought together to the table. So, Dr. Murphy, you're an amazing man. Enjoy your retirement, even though I don't want to see you go. And I do like Frank a lot, but I'm going to miss you.
Thank you. Thank you. Still here. Would you like to comment, Dr. Murphy? Come on up here.
Tinker, thank you, but thank you to the board. Obviously, I have an incredible staff that works very hard to serve the needs of the families and youth in Iroquois and Kankakee County. So I've been very blessed that way, and I realize that and accept that blessing. And so we've been working very hard also on a transition plan. So Frank's with me here today. The reason that we're bringing my retirement letter to the committee today is so that we can be working with both the Iroquois County and the Kankakee County boards. And that's gone very well, and we hope that at the board meeting we're able to work through the appointment process. Mostly, and we talked about this in our joint ed committee, is because there isn't a natural succession plan for the regional superintendent, so we try to have the appointments done prior to the retirement so that the services to the community never see any delays, and we're able to continue to provide the services to the families and those coming to our office as we go through. So, but I certainly appreciate the support of the boards in both counties, and so thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We voted on that, didn't we? Okay. I have one opening in the Clausen Park Drainage District, one opening on the X-Line Creek Drainage District, one opening on the Pilot Township Fire Protection District, one opening on the St. Anne Fire Protection District, one opening on the Kankakee County Historical Preservation Commission, two openings on the Kankakee River Valley Forest Preservation District Board, two openings on the Caravan Drainage District, and two openings on the Mantino Number 9 Drainage District, 6 openings on the Kankakee County Regional Planning Commission. So spread that news, please. And then on to new business. So we've had another community join in with our intergovernmental agreement for animal control which brings us up to, I think, 5 now. So I would like to entertain a motion to allow Grant Park to have an intergovernmental agreement with animal control. Ms. Parker with a first, Mr. Hess with a second. Is there any discussion?
What are those 5?
All right, now you're gonna put me on task. Brad, is it Bradley? Well, I'll
Bradley.
curtsy to Mrs. Parker.
Oh, gosh, thanks.
Buckingham,
Buckingham.
we can do it together.
Okay, Buckingham.
Bradley, no, Bourbonus. Bourbonus.
Andy, help me out here.
Oh, hold on, we have animal
here?
control in the building. Thank you. What's our partners, 5 or 5?
Arlo Park, Buckingham, Shabance, Grant Park, Bourbonnais, and I feel like I'm missing one.
Home Park, Buckingham, Shabance, Grant Park, Bourbonnais.
I think that's it.
Okay,
I think that's
that
it.
5? It's 5.
Working on a couple more. But
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah.
Mr. Hunter, you have some?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Could you give us specificities as to why it's taking so long for Kankakee City? Formerly, they had a relationship, and how are the negotiations coming along? Is there impasse? Is there something we can do? Are there additional meetings set up to facilitate this agreement?
The contract has been sent to the city of Kankakee, the mayor, and he brought it to the code. I'm not sure how much further it had gone to that, but I sent it to the mayor and the police chief there.
So your expectation is that it'll be signed, or?
My hopes were that it would be signed. I'm not quite sure where they've gone. They've not asked any further questions besides me sending the contracts to them. It was for a certain amount, and they've not discussed whether that amount was too high or too low at any point. We gave it a rough estimate for what we pay a year, and then we added a little bit more because we're going to be a little bit busier with their services.
So, and all the wrinkles have been ironed out, and this is the final version?
Yes.
Thank you.
And this is a relatively new program to the county. I mean, getting all these municipalities and towns involved in helping support animal control as a whole is relatively new. So I think the more we can get involved, the more that will. Eventually it'll be everybody, I believe, but the process is slow, I agree. Okay, so I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, and I will, I want to talk about some township boundary changes. We're not sure if we can do anything with this currently, but Mr. Wheeler, can you give us some background on this Sun River Terrace, Roma Township boundary change issue that we found in the remapping?
Well, it was an issue we found in the remapping. Didn't really have a path forward at the time. Kind of did the map, but basically there's about 25 to 40 voters in a little small part of Sun River Terrace area that have to go and vote in a Roma Township because that's technically where they Roma instead of Janier, which would be a couple blocks down the road. And so kind of filed that away. The map process was very hectic, it was very broad-based. And so the reason it came back up was the SMA, Eric Blair came in and he was approving the township map. And I wondered if it was an opportunity to fix that little idiosyncrasy over there. We did the math and it would save roughly, the property owners in that area, I want to say just a general number, about 10% on their county portion of their whole tax bill, property tax bill, if you would, which is not a little bit of money in some cases. So it was worthwhile looking at. Talking with ASA Coghlan, it's a lot longer process than we had time in a week to be able to execute. It may be something that we can do only every 10 years, but we're going to look to do it next year. Around the same time to amend the township boundary. I don't know that we can, but we're going to take a look at it. So if it is done, we want to make sure it's done right instead of rushed. I hope that makes sense. There is a benefit for those residents we see, and without being a huge impact, or it'd be minimal in terms of finance for all of Aroma Township. I hope that makes sense the way that I put it. So.
Are there any questions about this? We don't know if we can have any action on this today, but it's a problem that we've seen. I mean, with the redistricting and everything, I mean, if only, and I hate to say it like this, if only 20 to 40 people were affected by this whole redistricting, we did a pretty darn good job, I think, you know, to only have that small of a population have an issue. So kudos to us with the map. Mr. Chairman, go ahead, Mr. Wheeler.
I apologize. This isn't new with this map. This is something that's been ongoing since the township was formed.
Okay, so this is years and years and years. Okay.
Exactly. So this is just the natural boundary of where Aroma and Junior met. Well, the town built up around that boundary, and sometimes some people were on the other side of that line. So we could have addressed it back then, and probably should have, to be honest. But it was part of a larger process. We thought we could address it maybe later, but now, after talking with ASA Coghlan, we've got more of a research thought.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hess?
Thank you, Chairman. Is this the new housing development in the back of Sun River Terrace?
It's the far west corner. I would say southwest corner.
Yeah, that's the same area. I mean, I'm going back probably 50 years or more, but that was a gray area for us for the fire districts too, between Momence and Aroma. I mean, we responded to calls no matter who got the call, but you know, depending on where that was on that road.
Didn't know who was in charge of that call.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this has been going on for a long time.
Okay, well, we're gonna see if we can maybe alleviate some of those problems or pressures, so. I don't think we could vote on that.
There's nothing to do here, Mr.
There's nothing,
Chairman.
it's just informational. Yeah, okay. All right, but next up on new business is something we can vote on, is to approve the selection of election judges for Kankakee County. The list is in your packet. I would need a motion. Mr. Carrico, and a second. Mr. Payton. This has to be done every election cycle, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Aye.
Okay, election judges are approved. Good, because they're working today. All right.
They're not approved.
Have fun, everybody.
Thank you. Is there any old business? Yes. Hold on, Mr. Payton. There you go, Mr. Payton.
Before we go to old business, I wanted this committee to put it on record that effective the last day of this month, which I think is June the 31st.
30th. Yes.
That I will be submitting my letter of resignation for District 4. And I just want to say that I love you guys, and I enjoy serving the county board.
It's been a pleasure to serve alongside of you, Mr. Payton. I hate to hear that.
Yeah. Love you too. I just need that on record. So
gotcha.
In July.
Yes, sir.
We can.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Payton, for all your service, sir.
Thank you.
For your and continued service.
Yes.
Is there any old business to come before the committee? Any old business? Mr. Hess?
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Yes. Do we have a second? Mr. Long? All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Have a great